Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in miniature. And well, today's isn't super miniature, but it is somewhat still obscure. Many of you may know that I have quite a fondness for the Kamen Rider series, having watched my fair share of them, and Japanese tokusatsu superhero shows in general. But my son just finished watching Masked Rider Ryuki. I don't know why I'm not saying Kamen Rider, which was called Dragon Rider or something like that back in the early 2000s on Fox Kids, if I recall correctly. I know they tried to bring it over here. He really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it back in the day, and I didn't actually realize that they'd put out a Figurerise of it. So I was like, I will buy this, because I actually really like the design. I was with the colors were quite different for the traditional Kamen Rider. There were a lot of different Kamen Riders in the show, and being a product of its time, it was one of the first that really kind of went all in with the cards and various forms and gimmicks. The biggest being the, what's it called? Dragender. Yeah, Drag Redder. The super large dragon that you can actually have pose with Ryuki, as well as, I guess, there's advent cards, which they would slide into various slots for gimmicky fights in the show, if you've never seen it. Okay, looks like we've got the stands, so that's cool. Ryuki was one of the shows, I think it was one of the very first Kamen Riders that I ever watched, to its conclusion. And it was a bit different. I mean, they did have some bikes every now and then. But the bikes, I thought, were always more of an afterthought. They were going to be, oh my god. This is for sticker 51. Holy crap. But I kind of expected it with the markings on the dragon, so we'll do it. So a bunch of chrome parts, as to be expected. The black of his armor. That's interesting. The Drag Redder is in a more metallic. I don't know if that's actually showing up or not. Whereas Ryuki himself is in a very vibrant, bright red. I think it'll be better to see once I've got everything built. I mean, you could sit here and look at the sprues with me, but I doubt most people really care. I mean, I don't even really. Polycaps. I don't know where those are going to go. Maybe on the dragon. I'm not sure what all those pieces are for, and that looks like for the eyes. Okay, check that out. Those are hard to see, but those are his advent cards, along with some extra support stands to hold his dragon up. I'm guessing that's part of the dragon. More of Ryuki himself. Oh my god, that is a big freaking sticker sheet. But, on the other hand, you can see here, look at the size of some of those stickers, so I guess it's not too bad. I mean, there is a fair bit, and I'll be honest, I mean, like with the Kamen Rider Black one, half of them I didn't even end up using. I just thought it looked decent with the shiny bits, the way they were. So, I'll get this built, and I will happily show it off in just a sec. So sit tight. Alright, we got Ryuki all put together here, and I gotta say it's been quite annoying because literally I have been very busy with family obligations and stuff, and I haven't had a chance to film him, at least this part of the review, since building him. And every day, literally almost every day, I come in the room where I usually film, and I've got Ryuki in a new pose, or with new objects in his arms, or whatever, because my son keeps messing with it. So, obviously, I know where this guy is ending up. I gotta say, the stickers, while a bit voluminous, for lack of a better word, they came out pretty decent. You can see on his belt there, on his drag riser, on his helmet. Nowhere near as intense as, like, the stuff on Kamen Rider Black, with all his little stripes. Funny thing is, we finished watching Black Sun, and now we're both kind of itching for a Black Sun Figurerise, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Honestly, though, for my son, and somewhat for me, the real star of the kit was the Drag Raider, I believe it was called. The dragon that is Ryuki's contract monster that is so large that it does not even want to fit into the camera, and it keeps making all that crazy adjustments. And so it's got really simple joints, and you can see here the limbs actually removed, so you can make the shields to plug in, have him holding his hand. The saber right here is going to unattach from the dragon itself if you want to have him fighting with it. There were stands to have him floating around, but my son stole them along with all of the advent cards that he's supposed to have. I would show you those. They were kind of neat. They were like little nice plastic, and they actually fit in his hand, and you can actually store them in the Drag Rider as well. So that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, like I said, he just keeps messing with it. So I know where this is ending up, which is just like, I get the hint. I need to finally finish this video. Definitely, it's kind of cool. There are 2 supports to keep the dragon up. I want to say in addition to the one for Ryuki. I don't even remember now. But all of the stuff that he has in the show is included. So he's got like the larger form of the dragon head that he can use like for punching. The shields, obviously, with the limbs that I don't want to mess with. Not that they're like that hard to take off, but I don't have that. There's a little connector point that goes in his shoulder plugs. I hope they make some more. I really do. I think, you know, I've really enjoyed actually all the Figurerise kits. The Riders much more so than the Ultramen, but you know, the Ultramen were based on the suits rather than the, when I say suits, I mean the high-tech redesigned suits, not like the old rubber suits. And I don't know where my Taro is, or Tika. And I'm talking about getting a Trigger or Decker or whatever, which one's been released so far. But they are a pretty decent size. So this is a 1/144th Gundam. You can see they're a little bit bigger. I mean, yeah, they're a bit pricier, but the fact that you do get his Drag Raider as well, and with all those stickers attached, I mean, it's pretty cool looking. And I know I took a photo, I'll stick it up on Instagram, of one of the last day I finally got sick of seeing him in new poses, literally every day in a new pose, that I just had to finish this video so he can go screw around with it and put it up in his room with all his kaiju, because I know that's what he wants. I got the hint, kid. Anyway, one of these days I'm going to have to drag him in here. I've got some funky stuff that my brother, his uncle, picked up from Japan, so I'm going to need some support on that one, because I have no idea what I'm getting into. So keep your eyes out for some funky True Obscurity stuff in the near future. But I think if you're interested in Ryuki, if you remember, what was it, Dragon Knights? Was that what it was called? Masked Rider Dragon Knights? I never saw the US translation. I'd already finished the show. Considering I think I watched it like 20 years ago now. It's like early 2003 or something. I feel like we watched it, me and my wife. I don't even think we were married yet. Maybe we were. I don't even remember. It's been ages. But it was cool. Finished watching the show with him. Had a lot of fond memories of it. It was a pretty good show. Didn't feel like it was super for kids like some of the older stuff. Didn't feel as dark and as intense as stuff like Cougar Agito, at least in my experience. But fun nonetheless, and if you haven't had a chance, I know it's available to watch this in English subtitles out there for free, licensed, or if you want to buy the DVDs or Blu-rays, I'm 99% sure they're available in the US, or at least in English-speaking areas of the world, so do take a look. I thought Ryuki was one of the better modern riders, at least that I've seen so far. But then again, it's set off a bit of a Kamen Rider renaissance in our family, which is funny because my son for the longest time was adamant that Kamen Rider was lame and that only Ultraman was worth watching. But he's come around, he's seen the light, and he's really into it now. So don't be surprised if we see more Figurerise Kamen Rider stuff on this channel in the near future. Thankfully, with everything multilingual on the box in English, you probably have a good chance. I've seen Ryuki and a couple of the other riders at most of the local Japanese supermarkets that stock some of this stuff. So if I'm seeing it there, it should be in pretty normal hobby distribution channels in the US. And if it's getting that wide of exposure in the US, then probably it's trickling out there all around in Europe and other places as well. So do keep your eyes peeled for a good deal, right? And with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures saying thanks for watching, and we will see ya back here soon. Bye-bye.